Magic the Gathering is a game about stories. And I don't just mean the characters in the game or the lore, and I also don't mean what happens on the table, necessarily. I mean the stories of the people that play, sitting down together and playing cards in person. Today, I'm here with my good friend Justin, who has a lot of stories about Magic. And we've both been playing for a good long while. But he's going to give a quick rundown of who he is and why we're standing in this store here.
Yeah, so my name is Justin. I am from Southern California, and today we are in this beautiful LGS called Lost Levels in Claremont, California, because on March 1st, we are hosting a charity commander tournament here to benefit the American Heart Association. It is a very special charity to me and my family. My father was directly impacted by a heart disease that has really affected our way of life and affected our family. So it's really special to me, really important to me, and Magic is also very special to me. So I wanted to combine the two with the charity event and Magic. So we have put together a charity Magic event. So on March 1st at 11:30, come on down to Lost Levels in Claremont, California, and take part in an awesome event that's going to support a wonderful charity.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your history with Magic?
Absolutely, absolutely. So my history with Magic. So I actually first got introduced to Magic by one of my really good friends in freshman year of high school. At the time, Odyssey was the main set around, so for all those people that remember Odyssey. And then I was introduced to, like many other people, to an elf deck. My very first card that I ever laid eyes on was Wood Elves. That was the very first card that I ever saw, and I fell in love with it. I grew up where my dad and my uncles were huge into Dungeons and Dragons. So they played all throughout high school, all throughout college. We would have Dungeons and Dragons parties growing up as a kid. So we'd have all the neighborhood kids come over and play Dungeons and Dragons too. So I already had this love for things that were like mystical and things that were just like enchanting like that. So Magic was a really easy segue for me to get into because the themes at the time were almost identical. After I got into Magic, I really kind of just fell in love with the lore of it. At the time, as you remember, there was always the books that came out with different sets.
Yeah.
And that was one of the really awesome things to be able to read about that. So, like Odyssey and all, they had just these really beautiful art in the cards too. So then I decided to go to my first ever Wizards of the Coast store at the mall. Bought starter decks, bought booster packs when they had the beginner, intermediate, expert level on them. And to be honest, I was actually very intimidated by the expert level cards, so I always bought just the beginner and intermediate level.
That's why they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I know. I realized that after the fact too, and I realized that the better cards were actually in the experts, so I started buying the expert ones too. And then after that, I just had this really deep love for Magic. I played all throughout high school. I just really fell in love with it. And then Onslaught came out, and really fell in love with Onslaught, the whole theme of that. But then I started getting into the competitive scene when Mirrodin and Fifth Dawn came out.
Oh, nice.
And that was the set that just really...
that was a crazy environment.
Such a crazy... Yeah. And it was so cool because when you went to the LGSs at the time and you went to playing, there wasn't a known metagame like there is now where you can go on the internet and be like, who's playing what? Yeah. You walked into the store and it was kind of whatever, or the only reason you had a metagame is because you were watching like Grand Prix and Worlds. Sure, yeah. So my very first tournament experience, I built a super janky Channel the Sun's 5-color Bringer of the Dawn deck.
Oh, and you just powered out a Bringer on like turn 4?
I powered out Bringers super quick. It had Joiner Adept, so I could tap all my lands for anything. I had Altar of the Light to exile in artifacts or enchantments because Darksteel Colossus was a big deal. Right. And also Furnace Dragon was a big deal. So I just kind of had these cards, and I was like, oh, you know what? This is a good combination. Let me put it. I was able to get to top 4.
Hey.
First time with a janky
That's
deck.
pretty good.
First time with a
Yeah.
janky deck. I was super, super happy with myself. And that started to grow my love for the competitive side of Magic. And then as I got more into it, I realized that obviously there's more worlds and more areas to explore. And then I really started to fall in love with Modern, the area that I was in. Modern was by far the biggest and most popular play style over Standard, and obviously Legacy was just so expensive at the time.
It's more expensive now.
It's more expensive now. But this is the glory days of Tarmogoyf too.
That's true.
Yeah, because then Future Sight came out.
$800 on
Yes,
just a place at a Tarmogoyf.
exactly. And then homage to the famous video in Worlds where he pulls the foil Tarmogoyf.
Foil Tarmogoyf drop.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those things where Modern was just so diverse at the time. I played some really janky decks, and then I played a deck that I really love. The first Modern deck I ever played was Mono Black Infect, and it was just heavy hand discard. It was just a really grindy game. It was really good against control decks. Couldn't do anything, but it was a lot of fun. And then I got into a deck that I really, really loved, and I still have to this day. Updated, but I still have it to this day, and I played Living End. And then I played that all the way through, played a ton of Modern for probably about 4 or 5 years, and then I just took a small break. Went to college, grew up, had kids. So life goes on.
Absolutely. Why don't you give us a rundown of what you're playing right now while we kind of deal hands and...
Yeah, absolutely. So I am playing Thalia and the Gitrog monster. So this is kind of a homage to some of my favorite colors, pretty much in Magic. One of my very first decks I ever played was White Weenies during the Onslaught Legion period, where it was just pretty much just all creatures. So it was like Amplify and all those kind of really weird.
I love the fact that they did that in Legion.
I love that too.
The entire creature set.
Yeah, it was literally just creatures.
Yeah.
So I really, really loved that. It was probably one of my favorite things to do when we would always do little home tournaments with my groups of friends, and we'd all chip in for a booster pack. So you're 14, you don't have a lot of money, but you chip in $2, and back when booster packs were $2-3.99.
I remember, you buy a whole box for $40.
Yeah.
And then you just crack the packs you need and sell the rest and make most of your money back.
Yep. Still one of my biggest regrets to the day is I remember there was a Wizards of the Coast store that was going out of business, and they had 7th edition boosters for $50.
Yep.
And I was like, now I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have just done it. But back then I was like, oh, $50, that could buy me X, Y, and Z for my deck. And I was like, you should have just bought it. But yeah, so this is kind of one of my pet decks. Ergo, the full art for the commander. I kind of just call it Thalia's Toolbox because there's not really anything specific to win by. It's more of just a lot of answers to a lot of possible problems that can occur. So it has a little bit of stacks, has a little bit of a creature synergy. Obviously, the commander itself is a beast itself with all the text on there.
It's got a lot of text.
A lot of text. And just for those at home that don't know what it is First Strike, Death Touch. You can play an additional land in your turn. Opponents' creatures and non-basic lands come into play tapped. And when Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, you can sacrifice a creature or a land and you draw a card. You have to sacrifice a creature and a land and you draw a card. So
you got it.
So much. And so funny, I had to memorize it too because of when I went to the full art, I was like, oh man, what does it do? And I had to pull the regular card out of my binder, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what it does. So what are you playing today?
So I'm running Camellia the Seedmeister. It is food squirrel tribal.
Ooh.
It is combos all the way down.
Oh, okay.
So it's got everything in it but Igra.
Okay.
Just because the 2 card is a little too easy to do, but last night I definitely had Peregrine Took and a couple other things that allowed me to just go sack a food into a squirrel, sack a food into a squirrel.
Yeah.
So that's basically what this does. It's a green-black engine. It doesn't have a ton of draw power, but it's got enough tutors to kind of get online.
Yeah.
So I'll be asking questions, and you'll have the answers. It
Ooh,
sounds like.
Let's do it.
This will be a good game. Yeah, I think my mulligan strategy recently has just been, can I get to turn 3 with a plan? And like, that's enough. Like as long as I can get something.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. All right, I think I'll try to keep this. Let's hope for the best.
Cool. Shall we roll for first?
Let's roll for first.
All right. There we go.
Oh, 8's gonna be hard to beat.
Slightly above average.
Yeah, let's see. 8. Oh, okay. 10. Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot more. That's a lot more above average. Oh, snake eyes.
Hey, you know, if you're gonna go out.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah, I'll go first on this.
Okay.
And you said you're good, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the temple and a little bit of scry.
Ooh.
And I'll pass the turn.
All right. Draw for turn.
No 0 mana cost in here.
Ooh. Let's see. I will play Undergrowth Stadium. Comes in and play untapped. I'll tap it for a green.
Does it now?
It does. Let's have 2 or less, right?
2 or more opponents.
2 or more. No, I thought it was 2 or less. Reading the card explains the card. All right, pass the turn.
See, that one actually has the text on it.
Yeah, it does.
That's
it
easy
does.
mode.
It does. Oh, jeez.
I'll play Llanowar Wastes and a Golgari Signet.
Got it.
I'll pass the turn back to you.
Oh, jeepers. Okie dokie.
So while we're kind of getting the quick turns here going, what was your next step in Magic? Because you said you took a bit of break for family.
Yeah.
And kind of settled down.
Yeah.
Are you done after the break?
Yeah, I'm done after the Bird's Paradise.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, no land drop there, which is crazy because I play like 36 lands in this deck. So I took a long break from Magic, and when I came back for a friend. I had a longtime friend that you actually met, Stuart, when we were at MagicCon. He actually got me back into it. Just as kind of like...
That's always how it goes, isn't it? One friend being like, hey, did you ever play Magic?
Yeah, well, it's funny because like it was almost like as like a joke. Like he got me back into it because...
How so?
So we were kind of joking about like his birthday was coming up, and I was like... hey, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm going to be in town. Let's hang out. And he's like, oh, I'm actually going to play Magic with, like, 20 of my friends. And I was like, oh, haha, that's really funny. And then, like, his birthday, like, the night before, he's like, hey, actually, I'm being serious. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I don't own anything Magic anymore. He's like, buy a deck at Target and come play with me.
That's
and I was like, okay. So I bought a deck and drove down. I played... probably one of the most miserable Commander games I've ever played in my entire life. It was a 10-player Commander game. Oh my gosh. It took...
I was going to say 8 hours?
It took 5.5 hours. We didn't even finish. It got to the point where turns were taking so long that we had one person that was like on an Xbox playing, and we had another person that was on a PlayStation playing.
Oh gosh.
Because like the turns would just take so long.
And that makes them take even longer too.
Yeah, well then what was even worse is that somebody dropped a dockside at Extortionist, and they dockside popped for like 30 treasures.
Did they immediately win?
I think we all just gave up, to be honest with you. I think we did, because we're just like, he's like dockside for 30, and we're like, everybody kind of looked around the table. I was like, there's 9 other people here. No one has a response. And everyone was like, nope. And I was like, you win, dude.
Yeah.
Like, good job.
I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think
you
we're
can
good.
revel in riches.
Yeah.
We're out.
I will tap a green for a Delighted Halfling.
Yeah, I think one of the most miserable games that I ever played, it was an 8-person free-for-all. And one person was looping Mind Slicer. Like, of all the cards to break out in a big multiplayer game, just everyone drawing dead for 6 or 7 turns.
Oh, that's so bad.
That was pretty brutal.
And then we'll go into an Allosaurus Shepherd.
Ooh, nice. I love that art.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that one was a very lucky pull. I've had a few packs in my time where I've actually pulled something decent and been happy that I bought a booster pack. I'm kind of a big advocate for buying singles, but I'll go ahead and pass the turn back to you. But yeah, so that's how I got back into Magic, and what was crazy is that like the 10 or 12 people that were there I was playing Magic with at the party, most of them started playing during like really recent sets. So none of them knew like anything about probably before War of Spark.
Oh, interesting.
Like nothing. They had no
just
context.
fresh to the game.
Literally
Completely.
brand new, fresh to the game. So it was really interesting, like having discussions with people. And yep.
And then we'll throw that on here, and
Yep.
I'll swing for 4.
Swing for 4.
With menace.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the 4, Commander.
Sounds good. Do you have...
I don't have a life counter on me because I usually use...
Let's just use these for now.
Okay.
Kind of keep track, count down from 20 twice, and call it good.
I like it. Go to 4. 6,
Oh, I only need
36.
1 to place Skull Clam, 1 to equip. Okay, that's right. Post-combat, I'll tap for 3 and play an Academy Manufacturer.
Ooh, very nice.
Now I just need a way that I can make food. And
Yeah,
we'll be off to the races.
You will be off to the races.
I don't have that at the moment, so I'm going to pass.
Alrighty, I will untap, upkeep, draw. Oh no, shifting woodline into play tapped. Let's see, what do we have here? We have access to 3 mana.
And so have you been pretty much on Commander since then?
Yeah, so good question. So I really, one of the things that I really enjoyed about Magic, and I think was really instilled with me from the very beginning, just being with my friends, was being competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with my group of friends, we were always trying to outdo each other within, it was really interesting, but within our respective colors. So I had a friend.
Interesting. So you all kind of bracketed into
Yeah,
specific things.
so like I had one friend, he was all about mono black zombies.
Okay.
That's all he ever wanted to play.
Yeah.
I had another friend that was all about just like mono blue like flyers and counter spells. That was just who he was. I was always mono white soldiers, like human soldiers and stuff like that. That was kind of just like what I played and what I'd like to do. I had another friend that always played really janky artifact decks, and that's just what he wanted to do. So we were always just really competitive with each other on that. And I remember going over to my friend's house on Saturday, and us literally just playing, I don't know, probably 20 games of Magic from like, we'd get over there like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, like all of our parents were like super like supportive of it, because like there's a million other things we can be doing as like 16, 17-year-old kids. We're all going to our friend's house at 8 o'clock in the morning, staying until 10 o'clock at night, just playing Magic all day.
Yep.
So that's what we did, and we just played Magic nonstop. And so because I was so competitive, when I got back into it, that competitive nature really came back out again, and I started playing Commander, and I was like, oh man, like there has to be a better way to do what I'm doing, because this feels really slow. And like I said, I was playing Modern for such a long time, and you know, when you have, you know, multiple of the same card, it's really easy to...
The difference in consistency.
Yeah, consistency is just so
Absolutely.
different. So I really wanted to play something like that to be able to do it. But on that note of playing something and doing something about it, I will tap 1 for a colorless. I'll play a Vexing Bauble. And then I will pass the turn. And then at the beginning of your draw step, I'm going to pay 2 life to Noxious Revival to put your Terramorphic Expanse on the top of your deck, because I am dying right now.
Well, I guess I'm drawing a Terramorphic Expanse.
There you go.
Cool. I'll play a Terramorphic. Yeah, we'll crack that for a thing just while I'm here. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny looking back at some of the old Commander decks, especially because you started with a pre-con.
Yeah.
Just how miserable they are to play.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, this deck is largely the Squirrel pre-con from Bluebird. Swapped out the Commander, I added maybe 6 or 8 cards, and it's great.
It's optimized.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really optimized.
My lands obviously need a little bit of work, but it's still, like, reasonable.
Yeah. What is your opinion on Commander in general? Because I know a lot of people from my competitive days that kind of look down on Commander, and they say like, oh, like it's strayed away from what Magic was, but I think personally, I think Commander really revived the community feel.
I agree.
I
grew up playing in people's garages.
Right.
We'd go over to people's houses, and like you talk about like 10 p.m. We were there till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Just playing, multiplayer games
Absolutely.
with ridiculous amounts of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that is Magic to me. That is kind of, I won't say like true Magic because it isn't really that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's the nostalgic Magic for me. And so to see a community format like this
Yeah.
with very light restrictions on which cards you can play
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I feel like it's what I enjoy about it the most is busting out cards that were old that newer players haven't seen.
Yes.
So, and then them being like, wait, what does that do? I didn't even know that card existed. Welcome to Magic. Like
It's
just
wild. Some of the older cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will just attack you for 4 again.
I'm not gonna have a choice. I'll take the 4 down to 30.
All right. And then thanks for the Terramorphic Expanse again. I've got so many things to do. I'm going to pass the turn.
And I'm gonna pop the Vexing Bauble
Okay, nice.
to draw a card. Go to my turn, untap. Draw.
But yeah, I will say in terms of Commander's place in Magic, the frustration that I have is when you have something like Modern Horizons 3 come out with Commander decks.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird place to put it.
I agree. I think that
Especially because they excluded it from Innistrad Remastered. That feels like where Commander, there should have been like a classic Innistrad Commander deck.
yeah, I agree because if you played the original Innistrad, like that was, in my opinion, the glory days of competitive Magic.
Oh yeah.
Like standard, like Geist of St. Traft, like Rune Chanter's Pike, like that was like
Yep.
you were watching Magic on TV
Yeah.
at that point, and it was amazing for the channel, and it grew, and that's like an integral part of like Magic history, and because I think Commander has now become a huge part of Magic history as well. That it should be included, just from how important it is now. Let's do this. Let's play a Silent Clearing. I'm going to tap for a green, a black, a white, and another white from the counterable ability. I'm going to go ahead and play Thalia.
Fine, I won't counter it.
Finally, I
Because it
know.
double can't be countered.
Exactly. I was really scared of it, to be honest with you.
Hey, there's a counter.
There you go.
I could dash hopes.
There you go. Oh, jeepers. What do we do? I will put I get an additional land drop from Thalia. I'll put an Overgrown Tomb into play tapped. You have a 2/2 Academy Manufacturer?
2/2.
You have a 2/2. Okay. I will pass the turn on that note.
Okay, keyword abilities on Thalia?
First strike, Death Touch.
Really?
Did that Terramorphic Expanse hit you back a little bit?
No, but the swamp I drew this turn did. I think I have to make the right play, as mean as this is.
Do it.
I'm going to tap for 6, and I'm going to Casualties of War.
Oh, no.
I'm going to pop Thalia, and we'll take your white source.
Okay. Okay.
At least I'm targeting this.
Thalia and the white source. I'm going to use a dice to represent Commander Tex.
Sounds good. And yeah, I'm going to put Skull Clamp back on Chameleon, swing for 4.
Alrighty. Go down to 26.
All right, this is not what this deck is supposed to be.
Sort of feeling like it.
I'm going to pass the turn.
Untap, keep, and draw. That's really funny.
Yeah, I will say the other kind of funny thing, you talk about your friend that played janky artifact deck. It feels like as time goes on, artifacts have moved from janky to almost auto-competitive.
Yeah.
Like if you're up against an all-artifact deck now, you're like, oh, this is going to be a bad time for me.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be before, oh, you're running Karn? Cool.
Yeah. No, and that's I think another big part of having grown up with Magic versus having Magic introduced to you later is you saw the cards, you played with them with your friends. Like the LGS atmosphere wasn't around back then. So like you didn't have that kind of competitive feel when you played Magic, you were strictly playing Magic with your friends.
Right.
So like if you played with your friends, like you said, like you played in your garage, we played on kitchen tables.
Yeah, sure.
Like you were playing with your friend and you're like, dude, how did you beat me? That's so cool. And you'd either copy his deck because you did, or you borrowed his deck and played it because you just wanted to have that experience as well too. So I would agree with you. I'm gonna do something a little mean here.
Oh, please do.
Okay,
I think you need to at this point.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna play natural order, and I'm gonna sacrifice Allosaurus Shepherd.
Ooh, okay.
Alrighty. So.
Oh, the turntables.
The turntable. So I'm gonna go and search.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, the thing that catches me off is it's so hard to explain to people that creatures used to be bad.
That creatures used to be bad?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, old creatures are terrible.
Yeah.
And so, you see the power level of some of the spells and lands and things from the late 90s, early 2000s. You're like, these are amazing. But all of the creatures were bad. Yes. And so, Commander being able to combine those together makes for some really scary decks. But, yeah, it's a very different gameplay style.
Yeah.
Like the actual experience on the table is so different now.
I don't know what I want to do to combat you. I guess I want to have my hand.
Spread out a little bit so we have a little more clarity on what I have in play.
I guess the wise choice would be
Hulk is a choice. Wow.
Hulk smash.
Oof. Okay. I don't know how much that changes my plans here. I think I am just going to start having to let things die, though. Okay, we got a big idiot.
We got a big idiot. He's just a 6'6" blob of bleh, with some tusks. And I will pass my turn after that.
Sounds good. All right, I will untap stuff. I mean, what's the best play here?
The eternal question.
Let's start asking questions. I will attack you for 4.
Menace is 2 or more.
Correct. Yeah, so you have to block with 2 creatures, so you'd have to block with both Hulk and Halfling.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll go to 22.
All right, I'm going to play Evolving Wilds. We'll crack that. We'll go search in a second. And then I'll tap for 3 to play a Chatterfang.
Chatterfang.
You don't actually... Oh, you do have a forest.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yes.
But I'm going to go searching with Evolving Wilds, and then I'll pay 1 to clamp Chatterfang here.
Nice.
That's going to be my turn
Okay.
after that.
Untap, upkeep.
Yeah, I never really got into Modern. That format, for a little bit, I was leaning on a red-white kind of aggro Modern deck that seemed kind of cool.
Yeah, Boros is really cool.
But I don't know, it just didn't click with me.
Yeah, I think at least when I was playing it, card value was so crazy that it felt very intimidating to get into competitive formats.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you had staple cards that are now like a lot cheaper. Like for example, like we were talking about earlier, Tarmogoyf was insanely expensive, and Jund was just the deck.
Right.
Whereas
you had to run playsets. Of
you
everything.
had
like,
to run
there was no
playsets.
little toolbox toys.
Yeah, you had to run playsets. I am going to tap for a green and a white. I'm going to cast Eldamari's Call.
Yeah, no counters over here.
Okay.
Go for it. Oh, no. Okay.
I'm going to... Let's see. Where are you? Oh, I hope I put you in this deck. I'm going to be very upset with myself if I forgot to sleeve you in.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Come on.
I know. How silly would that be?
Yes. The peak strategy is relying on
it's
your
there.
opponent's deck building. Okay. Ooh.
You know, I've legitimately done that so many times, though, where
Yeah.
I thought that I sleeved in a card,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, wait, I just sleeved that card, but it was in a different deck. Cool. Like, I recently did that in a CEDH game where I thought...
You're going to be right back to searching. You don't really have to shuffle this.
Yeah, I don't. You're right. I don't know why I'm doing that.
I think I'm just dead here.
You are just dead here. So I'm going to pay 1 for carrion feeder
In response,
in response.
I'm going to pay black and sacrifice a squirrel to give it -1/-1.
Oh, I like that a lot. I can put
So you
another...
do have you sacrificed something.
Yes.
So which thing is sacrificed? Because that is in the graveyard.
Yes.
Because the
so,
cost is still paid. It's just in
Yes.
response to the...
Yeah, so Protein Hulk, and then what I'll do is I will sacrifice Birds of Paradise.
Okay. In response, I pay black, sacrifice Chatterfang to give it +1/+1.
+1/+1?
Or -1/-1, yeah.
Oh.
I think it's only -X/-X. But yeah, so another -1/-1 on the stack and Skull Clamp trigger on the stack.
Draw 2. I will I'll sacrifice Delight of the Halfling.
Okay, so it becomes a 2/2, becomes a 1/1, becomes a 2, and then
You draw 2.
draw 2, and then it becomes a 1/1, and in response, I'm going to pay 1 and Tragic Slip it.
Oh, wow. Well done, sir. Well done. Yeah.
Okay, resolve your
Yeah.
Hulk, and I don't know if I'm still just dead.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, Hulk with 3 mana. Let's see what happens here.
Okay.
Hulk is for 6.
Also, Commander went back to command, so I'm on that. I'm playing to my outs here.
Kind of have to. Well, you took my main plan away, so let's...
I don't know what you're packing, because this could still just spell the end.
This doesn't spell the end. I will say that right now.
Okay.
I'm just frustrated that the card I need was the next card.
Ooh.
But
Lucky me.
lucky you.
That's okay, the card I needed was also the next card. I did not have Tragic Slip in my hand.
Let's do... Man. That really set me back. That was a very good play. That was a very, very good play.
You know when the game gets good because the interview stops.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. Oh, man.
All right.
All right, what do I have here? It's for mana cost is 6. 5. Let's get a mana dork. Do I want a mana dork or do I want that? Sure. Let's just go get yeah. So we got that. All right. We'll shuffle these up. Looks like the game's going to go a little bit longer now.
All right.
But I'm going to make it hard for you.
Yeah, it's all coming into play right
Yeah,
now, which
it's
is
all-
rough.
Yes. So let's go ahead and cut me, sir.
So those are into play, right?
Yes, they are into play. So first is going to be Lorn of the Third Path.
Yep.
Next is going to be Collector Oof. And then next is going to be Deathrite Shaman. ETB, I am going to destroy Academy Manufacturer.
Yep. All right. And I can't activate any artifacts.
Right.
These over in
Oh, do you have a land in your graveyard?
I have a couple.
Oh, great.
But would you like an Evolving Wilds or a Terramorphic Experience?
Let's do the Evolving Wilds.
Okay, sounds
I want to tap to exile that to
You got
float
it.
white. I'm going to do green, green, green.
Yes.
I like to play a Sigarda, Font of Blessings.
I don't actually know this Sigarda.
Flying, other permanents you control have hexproof. You may look at the top card of your library. You may cast angel spells and human spells from the top card of your library.
Cool.
And is a 4/4 flyer.
Sounds good.
She's a 3/3.
Yep.
It's kind of a bigger card. I need more mana. It's not going to change anything. I will pass the turn after that.
All right, I'm going to untap, draw for turn. This is peak pre-con mana base here.
Oh, yeah. But it's also a swamp and a forest. It's kind of a big deal.
That's true. All right, and you have taken 12.
I have taken 12. Is this right? You know what? I have so much mana. I'm just going to swing for 3. Okay. Let's go to blockers.
Okay.
I will.
I'm going to tap for 5.
Okay.
And Windgrace's Judgment, your Sigarda. Because it's other permanents.
Other permanents, that's true. I will tap this in response. Me and you both draw a card.
Sounds good.
Oh, that's actually not bad. I could have looked at the top card of my deck too. Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
And you're
Yep.
lowering the dice. And I still can't use artifacts, but that's okay.
Yes.
We're figuring things out.
Indeed.
But that's all I got. Go ahead.
All right. Tap. Draw. Cool.
I think it's kind of funny that you talk about kind of falling into specific colors, because I know I definitely do that. Like green-black is my bread and butter. Most of the decks that I play are in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the biggest things too that I've been noticing is that I've started to do this thing where I will build decks that are out of my comfort zone because either I don't know a certain mechanic well enough, or I am just like not comfortable with that type of play style. So I was always an aggro player. Always. I loved combat damage. I loved creature combat damage. I started building a lot of counterspell decks because I was very unaware or intimidated by the stack.
Sure.
And just how that interaction worked. So I wanted to build counterspell decks so that I had a better understanding of how that actually worked. Because, like, not like just for the sense of a tournament, but like the sense of like I need to learn it.
Oh,
like as a
absolutely.
Magic player, and I'm not going to learn unless I have the experience to do it, and I learn from somebody else that knows more than me. Alrighty, let's see. You are tapped out for creature-wise.
Creature-wise, I have 3 green mana.
Yeah.
I could do something.
Let's do for 5. Orin Phosphane.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then I will go ahead and move to combat.
Yep.
I'll swing at you for 3. First time for everything.
I'm going to take the 3.
Okay.
All right.
Trigger.
Yep.
Draw 2. 1, 2. Oh, there we go. And I believe I've already had a land drop from return. Yes. And I will pass the turn.
All right. Now I just need to draw something good. You gonna play Grim Backwoods?
That's a card.
It would be great if I had tokens.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do something a little bit better, I think.
I like it.
Top for 4, we're gonna play a Death Reap Ritual.
I don't think I remember this card. Can I see it, please?
Actually, I'm gonna.
Beginning of each end step of a creature died this turn, you can draw a card. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a cute little morbid trigger.
Yep.
And then I think I do this as well. I'm also going to play Black Market.
Oh, very
Whenever
nice.
a creature dies, I get a counter on that. And then at the beginning of my pre-combat main phase, I add mana equal to the number of counters on that.
Nice.
I can't do anything about you. So I'll swing for 3. I think we're just going to kind of
Yep.
race.
Yep. So now I go down to 19.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And you have taken 15 commander damage.
I do. Be one of the few times I die from commander damage if this keeps up.
Eaten by squirrels.
I'm eaten
Bad
by
way
squirrels.
to go. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Untap. Keep. Draw. I'm going to play a Lush Portico and to play tapped.
Nice.
Trigger. Surveil. Yeah, we'll get that off the top. Let's get rid of your other land in there.
Expanse.
Yep. Tap for 6.
Cool.
We'll play Thalia.
Okay. So non-basic and lands and creatures come to play tapped.
Yep.
And a bunch of other words that will
Yes,
Cross
that
the
will
bridge when we get
readdress again. And then I will also play an additional land drop for the turn. Vault of Champions comes into
Nice.
play tapped. Move to combat.
Sounds good.
I will swing at you with Collector Oof for 2.
I can't do anything about that.
Okay.
So I go to 15.
And then orange trigger.
Yep.
Draw a card.
Yep.
And I will say go.
All right. Need some creatures to die here. Okay. 2 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Vine Reap Mentor.
Oh, good card.
It would be good, except the oath is a problem.
The oath is a problem.
So we'll figure that out. Play a food
Mm-hmm.
off of that. And then I'm going to use Grim Backwoods and 4 mana here.
Uh-huh.
Let's actually try to be smart about the colors we're using.
There you go.
To sacrifice my Vine Reap Mentor to draw a card,
Mm-hmm.
I get another food token.
Mm-hmm.
I draw a card. I will play land for turn. I put a counter on Black Market
Mm-hmm.
from that dying. And then I don't have a good way to attack profitably, so I think I'm going to pass the turn to you, and I have a morbid trigger, so I
You
draw a
do.
card.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
I will untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play Sun Petal Grove into play untapped.
Sounds good.
I will play a Temple Garden into play untapped, going down to 17.
Nice.
Because I need Zamana.
That's fair.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will tap for 9.
Oh, no.
I will Finale Devastation for 7.
Oh, no. All right, you search for a big dude. X is not 10, so you don't get that.
Mhm.
So it's just, what, 7 mana?
Huh? It's Elish Norn.
It's an Elish Norn. You don't have to tell me before you search. But I am going to do this now in response, because I think I have to.
Mm.
I'm going to pay 2 and use Forage to sack a food to put a +1/+1 counter on each other squirrel I control.
Which is only Camellia, right?
And it's
Well-
other squirrel. But she has a trigger whenever I sacrifice a food for any reason, I make a squirrel token.
Right.
With that Forage ability on the stack, I'm going to pay 2 and sacrifice a food to activate the ability again, and then I'm going to let both of those abilities resolve. And so both of these scrolls will have 2 +1/+1 counters.
Very nice.
This goes up to 3 counters here, and I will have a morbid trigger at the end of the turn.
Yep.
Continue with your search.
Sweet. Let's go hunting for Elish.
Cool. All right. Actually, I won't have a morbid trigger. I'm anticipating my things dying. They're not dead yet.
No.
'Cause they do actually get big enough with that.
Mm-hmm.
all of my creatures are 1/1s. It would make Skull Clamp really good.
Yeah, and all my creatures get +2/+2.
No. We're living on a prayer here.
We are. Did you cut me, sir?
No, you're good.
Okay. Let's spread this mana out just so we do this. I'd like to move to combat.
Makes sense.
I will go ahead and attack, and I will first strike, death touch. We'll leave you there, and we'll attack over here.
All right.
So a 4/8 and a 3/4, and they both have death touch. Attacking creatures have death touch from Lauren.
Oh, I got it. My guys are 1/1s, so everything has death touch against me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll block the Frost Fang just to get a morbid trigger and stuff, and then I'll take the 3 off of the death, right?
Okay.
And you do draw a card from that.
I do draw a card from that.
There's no trample there, right?
Nope, no trample there.
Cool. All right, Squirrel dies. Now I get a counter here. Now I have a morbid trigger.
And I will pass the turn on that.
Okay, I untap. I draw for turn. I will add 2 black mana to my mana pool, play a land, tap 1, and I'm going to play Nadir Nightblade. Whenever a token I
Nice.
control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. And then I'm going to tap 4 and Grim Backwoods to sacrifice a creature to draw a card. You lose a life and I gain a life. This goes to 3. This goes to 13 or 33. This has a morbid trigger potentially at the end of turn. Oh man. Do I have any way of getting out of this? Nope, not directly. So yeah, we're gonna pass the turn. Let's let it ride.
Alrighty, untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Okay.
Oh, morbid trigger at the end of my turn.
Morbid trigger. Let's do. Black, green, 1.
Yep.
I'm gonna play Honest Rutstein.
Nice.
ETB, I can turn a target creature card from my graveyard to my hand, and
Yes.
creature spells cost 1 less to cast.
Okay.
I am going to go and.
All right, Lauren's back. Cool. What do you? Are you playing her?
She just goes into hands. Well, Lauren actually only costs 2 now, huh? All my
Yep.
creatures only cost that.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
Joke's on you. I have no more lands in my graveyard.
But I do, haha.
Oh no. My only weakness. Decks that do things.
I'll do 2 whites. I'll replay
gosh.
Lauren.
Okay, sounds
ETB.
good.
I will destroy this.
But this one gives me mana.
I know. But if you can't draw cards, what does the mana do for you exactly?
Not the point.
I know. That's the. And then I'll also play 2 green.
Sounds good.
And I'll also play Augur of Autumn. I can look at the top card of my library at any time. I can play lands from the top of my library. As long as I control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you can cast creature spells from the top of it. So I'll look at the top card.
All right, and you definitely have that trigger.
I definitely have that trigger because I have a 4, 3, a 2, and a 1. So I'll actually pay that 2, and I will play Ramanap Excavator to play lands from my graveyard.
Now you're depleting your own lands out of your graveyard.
I will play Silent Clearing.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a cute little draw engine.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I will go ahead and move to combat here.
Sounds good.
You're shutting him off. These just got played. So did this.
Fear my negative 2-1.
I
Negative
know.
1-1.
I know. I know.
1-1.
I will attack, and attack. Trigger. I have to sacrifice. I will sacrifice Lush Portico.
Cool.
To draw a card.
Yep.
So you have, he's a 3/4, 6/6.
13 total.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I mean, the math on this is pretty easy, but I think I just let it go.
Okay.
I go to 20.
Nice. 3 triggers.
Draw your cards.
1, 2, 3.
I don't know if I have an answer, but
Can always
I'm going to do my best.
do your best. I like that. That's all we can ever do. Main phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
I get an additional land drop. I will play Lush Portico.
Oh, nice. Okay. Surveil.
Surveil.
Yep.
This would be the, I think the coffin killer right there if I did that. But play Damnation in that deck.
Did it come in the pre-con?
That wasn't in the pre-con.
True. It wasn't. I have some upgrades.
I will pass the turn.
End of turn, I am going to Worldly Tutor, which was also not in the pre-con.
Yeah, I like
but
that.
we're gonna see if there's any answers in here. I suspect I'm probably still dead, but who knows? I do know that there's a few things that could be relevant. Okay, you have potential. Nope, no haste. We're down to the last turn on this one before the game gets completely beyond my ability to do things. You have potential, but I'm missing half of that. You're interesting. Oh no. The complete shutdown of artifacts makes this really rough. Okay, so if we do that, this has to be the right answer, and we're just going to see kind of what we can get out of this.
Hazel.
The issue is that this does not, but I can't use the activated abilities yet. Let me see here. So, unless I have a way of dealing with that, I do think I am just kind of out. Because this is the other option. Or we could just go big squirrel.
Big squirrel. Just sink a bunch of mana into him. You're still at 20? I guess
20.
I guess if I swing out, but then even then.
Insatiable Frugivore is going to be our search here.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the best way we're going to get around this, I think.
It does seem rather insatiable.
Yeah. Would you like to cut?
Sure. Happy to. That's a fantastic card right there.
Well, I'm drawing this anyways.
Oh, that's true.
So, next turn, we'll see what it is. But I'm going to draw my Frugivore. I'm untapped. I play Command Tower.
Oh.
I add 3 black mana to my mana pool. I'm going to use 1, and I'm going to play my Insatiable Frugivore.
Mm-hmm.
And when it enters, I make a food token, and I'm going to start tracking these on dice. And then I can exile 3 cards from my graveyard to repeat the process. Once, twice. And that's it.
Okay.
So I get 2 more food tokens here. Okay. My Frugivore is a 0/2. I have some food. I'm completely hell-bent on cards in my hand. I'm going to... we do have a Grim Backwoods, which could draw extra cards, and we could check if you were lying about having a good card on top. Who knows? Pay 4, sack X foods, creatures get plus all and gain menace until end of turn. You're at 15?
I am at 15. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. But I mean, if you can cycle Nadir's
I'm trying to
Nightblade.
think of how big I can get here, because I can sack 3 foods. I don't have a way of making more, is the problem. Well, okay, so 3 foods gives +3/+0. That puts you only at 4 power. You lose 3, I gain 3. I don't have a way of stacking more than that. Yeah, the issue was something like Zulaport Cutthroat was too small, instantly dies to Elesh Norn.
That would do it.
Yeah, so I think we're just kind of out on this. Let's see. Forge doesn't do anything. I do think I just need to draw cards. That's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to pay 4, and I'm actually going to sack the Frugivore.
Oh, okay.
To draw a card. That is an interesting draw. I do agree. Did you see what was on top?
No.
Oh.
I just, heart of the cards kind of moment, you know?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Play Ashnod's Altar.
Oh, that is an interesting.
A couple turns earlier, that would have been game-changing. At the moment, I'm afraid it doesn't do enough. So
Okay.
I'll pass the turn to you and probably die.
Okie dokie. All right, I will untap, upkeep, draw. Let's go ahead and play a Blooming Marsh into play tapped. I'm going to do something a little off-hinged here.
Love it.
Yep, let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to play Torment of Hellfire, X = 8.
I'm going to pay 2 and forge twice with these. So you're going to lose 2 and I gain 2. And then this is going to be, what,
You repeat the process.
X times 3?
Yeah, so each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. You're hellbent, right?
Yeah.
So it's either...
I can sacrifice my artifacts. You lose another one. I gain another one. So that's going to be 5. And then 3 more. Another 1. So I'm at 6. And then I will take the last 2. So I go to 17. Okay. Continue.
Cool. All right, and then we'll go ahead and go to combat.
Sounds good.
I will swing, 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 swing.
4, 10, 13,
Swing, swing,
17, 21,
swing.
26, 30,
And then trigger.
34,
I will discard to draw a card.
38. If I block the 2 biggest ones, I still take 28 damage and die. Okay, that's gonna be it for me. All right.
GG's.
Well, good game. Good game.
Thalia's Toolbox.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
All right. So, I would ask one more question.
Yeah.
And that would be, for someone who's just getting into Magic, or maybe considering getting into Magic, what would be your best advice for them? Maybe not about playing the game, but just kind of getting into it, getting the hang of it, finding the right people. What do you recommend?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think, first and foremost, find an area of Magic that you love or that you enjoy and stick to that and learn it. I love Lord of the Rings, and I have loved Dungeons & Dragons for a really, really long time. That aspect of fantasy really appeals to me. So find areas that you can relate to. If you are a competitive person, get into the competitive scene of Magic and find something that you can attach yourself to and find a format. Luckily, the way that that Magic is nowadays, you can build competitive decks for relatively cheap if you play standard. If you, I'm building a competitive deck right now, and it's cost me $120.
Yeah.
Which back in the day, that was not a thing.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's crazy. The fact that you can play for as much as a competitive, like higher quality Pokemon deck nowadays is really, really crazy. I'd also say if you are somebody that is really looking for a community, Magic is probably the best place to do that. I have worn Magic the Gathering shirts in public and in random places, and I will get, hey, I love your shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, you play Magic? And I'll have people stop me for conversations. I had a random person coming back from MagicCon. I had a random person pull me up from my seat and was like, hey, do you play Magic? And because I was wearing a Magic the Gathering shirt.
Yeah, sure.
He literally pulled me aside and showed me his CEDH deck that he was bringing with him.
That's
just
really
he was
funny.
just happened to be traveling with in case he can get some games in. So sometimes you just never know. But my biggest piece of advice is if you're wanting to get into Magic or if you're curious about it, go to a local game store, find a group, because there's always going to be really good groups of people at pretty much every game store you go to. Try to borrow some cards, try to borrow some decks, learn the game, or even go online and just download Magic the Gathering Arena, try to play some games, have some fun there, and take the game for what it is. And when you first do it, don't take it seriously, because at the end of the day, it is a game. We're playing it because we enjoy it. We're playing it because we have fun. We're playing it because we love the art. And that's the biggest reason to get into Magic.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for playing. That was a great game.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything, for having me.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I loved playing against you. I loved your squirrel deck, and happy Thalia's toolbox could prevail.
I know. It was close. It was close. Didn't quite get there, though. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you so
for
much.
watching.
Thank you, guys.